Yo, the internet is on fire right now. And when I say fans are in shock, I mean jaws on the floor. You thought the King Von saga was over? Nah. Just when things were starting to quiet down, Asian Doll just came through swinging, and she ain't holding back no punches. She just dropped some explosive claims about Lil Durk that got fans calling him a snake, a liar, and some are even saying he was never really Von's brother for real. Watch his screenshots, secret phone calls, old DMs. Yo, this is looking like a full-blown BT drama mixed with a court case, and the streets is watching. We got betrayal, we got backdoor accusations, we got O-blocking chaos and clout chasers popping out the woodwork. And at the center of it all, a grieving queen who says she's tired of the silence and ready to burn it all down. But wait till you all hear what Durk said in response. It's icy, it's cold, it's petty AF, and it might just flip the narrative all the way upside down. Stay locked in. This one is wild. The streets weren't ready for this kind of heat. It all started with a random late-night live on Instagram, where Asian Doll pulled up with tears in her eyes, her voice shaking, and her heart on her sleeve. Thousands of fans rushed into the live, thinking it was just another emotional rant. But what they got, it was something else, something dangerous. She started slow, talking about King Von, how much she still loves him, how every night she dreams about him. But then her tone changed. It got darker, colder. She paused, looked at the screen and said, "I've been quiet for too long. They told me to shut up, but I'm not scared anymore." That's when she dropped the first bomb. She claimed Lil Durk ain't never been solid like he made it seem. She said Durk left Von hanging in more ways than one. Emotionally, financially, even spiritually. She said Von told her some things before he passed, things she kept locked up. Until now, she said, "Before Von died, he told me to watch everybody." He said everybody smiling in his face wasn't his brother. He knew something was off. He felt it. Fans in the comments went crazy. Some were crying. Others were calling her delusional. But a few started connecting dots that nobody wanted to talk about. She went on. She claimed that after Von died, Lil Durk never once reached out to her directly. Not to check on her. Not to check on Von's family. Nothing. She said she felt abandoned, betrayed, like she was erased from the picture. She said Durk used Von's name for clout, for streams, for sympathy. But behind closed doors, he moved cold. "It's like they wanted to forget Von," she whispered. Like he was just a hashtag. People didn't know how to take it. The comment section was a war zone. Some fans were calling her brave. Others were saying she's cloud chasing, but nobody could ignore the pain in her voice. This wasn't no marketing stunt. She was breaking down on camera, eyes red, voice cracking. And then, out of nowhere, she pulled out her phone and started scrolling. She said, "I wasn't gonna do this, but y'all need to see how they really did him. Y'all need to know the truth." She flashed DMs from someone close to Von's circle, a name she didn't show, but the messages were messy. They talked about how Durk didn't want to fly out to the funeral, how he stopped picking up calls from Von's mama, how he distanced himself the moment things got real. Von ain't want no fame. He wanted loyalty, and he ain't get it from the one person he thought was his brother, she said. The crowd was stunned. People were screen recording everything, reposting it on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit. Within minutes, her live was trending everywhere. Hashtags like "Wish Justice for Von" and "Durk Exposed" were exploding. But that wasn't even the wildest part. Asian Doll hinted that Von's death wasn't just a random street incident. She didn't say it directly, but the way she was talking, she made it sound like some people might have known something was gonna go down that night. She said Von wasn't supposed to be at that hookah spot, that he changed plans last minute, and that Durk was supposed to be there too, but cancelled last minute without saying why. I ain't saying he did it, but he knew something, and he ain't say nothing. That's worse, she said. The live ended suddenly. Screen went black, just like that. The internet was left spinning. Within hours, Lil Durk posted a black screen on his story with one line. "They gon' say anything when the clout dry up." No name, no direct response, but everybody knew who he was talking about. Fans were split. Some were defending Durk, saying he always repped Von in his music. Others said it's easy to drop bars when it benefits your brand. But where were you when his mama needed help? Where were you when his kids needed support? And that's when it got even messier. Von's cousin jumped into the mix. He tweeted, "Man, that girl need to chill. Durk ain't owe her nothing. He took care of the family more than she ever did." And just like that, it turned into a full-blown civil war. People were choosing sides. O-block was quiet. Nobody from the inner circle was saying much, but insiders started leaking. One person claimed that ever since Von passed, the energy between Durk and the rest of Von's crew had shifted, that they don't link up no more, that Durk moved to the suburbs and started moving Hollywood. One insider said, they only come together when it's camera time. That's it. All that brother talk? Fake. Von was real. They not. Meanwhile, Asian Doll went silent. No tweets, no new posts, like she said what she had to say and dipped. And that made fans even more paranoid, because what else did she know? What else wasn't she saying? Then an old interview resurfaced. Durk was asked about Von, and he hesitated for a few seconds before answering. At the time, nobody thought much of it. But now, people were dissecting that clip like it was evidence, watching his eye movements, his body language, trying to figure out if he was hiding something. One TikTok video pointed out that Durk stopped performing Backdoor after Von's death. They called it suspicious. They said the lyrics hit too close to home, like it wasn't just a song, it was a confession. And just when people thought things couldn't get more twisted, a fan account posted a blurry video from months before Von's death. It showed him arguing on the phone, pacing back and forth. Some claimed he was on the phone with Durk. Others said it was someone from Atlanta. Nobody could confirm, but the speculation was enough to fuel more theories. By this point, fans were doing full investigations. Charts, timelines, message boards. People who had never met Von or Durk were acting like detectives. The internet had turned into a courtroom, and everybody had a theory. Some said Durk distanced himself from Von because he knew he couldn't control him, that Von was too real for the industry, too raw. Others said Durk was jealous of Von's fast rise, that he felt threatened, that he wanted to stay the boss, and Von was outshining him. Others took it even deeper. They started pulling up label contracts, talking about how Von's masters were suddenly gaining value, how his streams doubled after his death, how some people profit more from a dead artist than a living one. Asian Doll never said those things out loud, but she didn't have to. The internet filled in the blanks. And just when fans thought the storm was slowing down, Durk unfollowed 2 of Von's closest affiliates, the same 2 that still support Asian Doll online. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't accidental. It was a message, and it didn't go unnoticed, and that's exactly where things started. Spiraling out of control, and that's exactly where things started spiraling out of control after Lil Durk unfollowed. Those 2 affiliates tied to Asian Doll, fans immediately caught on. Screenshots flew all over social media. Twitter, Instagram, even Facebook groups were flooded with side-by-side comparisons of follower lists. It was obvious, Durk was sending a silent warning. If you riding with her, you not with me. And just like that, the lines were officially drawn. The 2 affiliates, who fans know as close friends of Von, didn't say much, but one of them posted a story with just one sentence. Fake love don't last long. The other posted a throwback pic of Von with the caption, I ain't forget who was really loyal. Fans went crazy. Thousands of comments in minutes. People saying they talking about Durk. Others defending him, claiming this is all a distraction. But deep down, everyone knew the bond was breaking. Publicly. Then came the fan edits. Clips of Von and Durk laughing in interviews, performing together, showing love, overlaid with sad piano music and lyrics from songs like Crazy Story and Backdoor. TikTok was flooded, with videos captioned The Fall of OTF and What Really Happened to King Von. And while all this was happening, Asian Doll stayed silent for 2 whole days. No tweets, no stories, no cryptic emojis, nothing. And that silence? It was louder than anything she could have said. Then boom, she came back with a tweet that shook everything up again. She wrote, "Y'all better check who really benefited when Von died. I lost everything. Others gained." That one tweet turned the internet upside down. Within an hour, it had over 100k likes and 40k retweets. People started dragging up old stats. How Durk's album sales doubled after Von passed. How his features started increasing. How brands that never worked with him before suddenly wanted in. And the craziest part, some fans began claiming this wasn't just a case of survivor's guilt or industry timing. They started saying this might have been strategic, planned, even premeditated. The word sacrifice started popping up in comment sections again. Conspiracy theorists had a field day. TikTokers made timelines, breaking down Von's final week, his posts, his location drops, who was with him, who wasn't. Durk's name kept coming up. The theories got darker. Some fans claimed there was tension between the 2 right before Von's death. Creative differences, label disputes, ego battles. One fan posted an old video from a live performance where Durk was performing, and Von looked distracted, distant. The caption said, "Look at the body language. That ain't brotherhood." But not everyone was buying it. Some fans were fighting hard to defend Durk. Stop disrespecting Durk. He literally tattooed Von's name on him. You're trippin'. Asian doll always starting drama when her music flops. Nobody was saying this 2 years ago. Now y'all got theories out of nowhere. The internet was in chaos. Every tweet felt like fuel to the fire. Then, just when things seemed to be settling, a new voice entered the chat. Von's baby mama. She didn't name names, but she posted a long Instagram story venting about fake love, being left to fend for herself, and people using death for gain. Fans assumed it was about Durk, and they ran with it. Some started questioning if Von's family had ever received support from Durk's camp. People started digging into Von's estate. Who controls his royalties? Who owns his masters? Does Durk have any stake in his music? Nothing was confirmed, but that didn't stop the speculation. Even music blogs started weighing in. One article headline read, "Is Lil Durk exploiting King Von's legacy?" Another blog compared Von's rise to Tupac, calling his death suspiciously timed. Podcasts debated for hours. YouTube channels dropped 40-minute breakdowns. Everyone wanted a piece of the mystery. And through it all, Durk stayed mostly silent. No lives, no interviews, just a few vague tweets like, "They want you to crash out when you winning," and "They love you when you gone, hate you when you up." But then came the screenshot that really changed the narrative. An unreleased DM between Von and another Chicago rapper leaked. In it, Von allegedly expressed frustration about not feeling supported by certain people in the industry. He didn't name Durk, but the timing and tone had fans convinced he was talking about him. One line stood out, "These dudes say they love me, but where they at when it get dark?" That line started trending instantly. Fans started hashtagging it like a slogan. They said it summarized the whole situation. They said it proved Asian Doll was telling the truth. But here's where things get even crazier. Some insiders, people close to both camps, started anonymously messaging gossip pages. They claimed there were phone calls made the night Von died, calls that were never disclosed publicly. One message read, "Somebody told Von to stand down that night, told him don't pull up. He didn't listen, and now look." Another read, "Durk knew it was going to get messy. That's why he stayed in the hotel." Again, none of it confirmed, no names attached. But it didn't matter. Fans believed it, because the silence from the camps made everything feel more real. Meanwhile, Asian Doll posted a pic of Von with the caption, "He told me everything, and now I gotta live with it." And once again, she disappeared. Fans started begging her to come back, to drop more proof, to speak her truth fully. Some even messaged her saying, "If something happens to you, we know why." That's how serious this drama got. It wasn't just rap gossip anymore. It felt like a web of secrets, silence, and survival. Durk, on the other hand, posted a photo of himself in a luxury car with the caption, "I'm good." No mention of Von, no mention of Asian Doll, just vibes. And for a lot of fans, that was the final straw. They said, "How you good when your so-called brother's name in the dirt? Why are you not defending yourself if it's all lies? Your silence got blood on it." Others said he's just being smart, staying quiet to avoid legal drama, avoiding internet messiness, staying out the way, but the damage was done. Fans were already divided. The image of OTF as a tight-knit family, shattered, and the bond between Durk and Von, questioned forever. And just when things looked like they couldn't get more explosive, a surprise track snippet leaked online. Someone posted a 30-second audio clip of what sounds like Asian Doll rapping over a dark beat, with lyrics that hint at betrayal, backdoors, and broken loyalty. The line that stood out, "He ain't slide, he just posted RIP us, but when the smoke came, he was overseas." Fans lost it. They said it was a diss. They said it was a warning. They said Asian Doll was about to air everything out in music form. And honestly, they might be right. That leaked diss track was the spark. But what followed? That was the explosion. Within minutes of the clip hitting the net, it was all over rap pages, reaction channels, and street blogs. Asian Doll hadn't even confirmed the song was hers, but fans already knew. Her voice was unmistakable. The pain, the venom, the smoke, it was all in there. And that one bar, "He ain't slide, he just posted RIP. But when the smoke came, he was overseas." That bar hit like a headshot. People said she was calling out Durk directly. No more subliminals, no more hints. This was war now. And the fans? They were eating it up. On Twitter, hashtags exploded again. Angel Doll was right. Von was backdoored har sets. Durk's silence is guilt everywhere you looked. There were think pieces, reaction videos, side-by-side breakdowns of Durk's timeline around Von's death. People analyzing flight records. Yes, flight records. They were pulling receipts from 2020, saying Durk left Atlanta that same night, that he didn't go to the hospital, that he never showed up at the candlelight vigil. One TikToker even said, "The way Durk moved after Von died, don't sit right with me." Bro had more loyalty to the label than his day one, but it wasn't just fans talking anymore. Underground rappers, people who had kept quiet for years, started speaking up. One dude from Chicago posted a story saying, "It's about time Shorty said something. Everybody in the city know how that night went." "Y'all just late," another one commented on the snippet leak, saying, "It's always the ones closest to you." And just like that, the whispers became loud. But here's what really pushed the story into overdrive. The diss track wasn't a leak. Turns out it was a promo, a teaser. The full song was dropping in 48 hours. Asian Doll had planned it all along. And once the announcement hit her Instagram, the internet lost its mind. She posted the cover art, a broken rose bleeding from the stem, with the title, "Real Ones Die." The caption, "For him, and for the truth." Friday at midnight. You already know what happened next. The pre-save links got shared like wildfire. Fans were hyped, blogs were scrambling, and Durk? Still no response. Just posted a photo of himself courtside at a basketball game with the caption, "I'm focused on winning." Cold. But while Durk stayed cool on the outside, people close to him started folding. One of his old security guards, who hadn't been active online in years, suddenly posted a cryptic tweet. "I stayed loyal, even when it cost me, but the truth always wins." People were in the comments like, "Yo, what you trying to say? Who you talking about?" But he didn't respond. He deleted the tweet 10 minutes later. Too late. The screenshots were already viral. Then came the rumors. One blog claimed that Durk's team was trying to block the song from hitting streaming platforms. Another said lawyers got involved. People started saying defamation, lawsuits, gag orders. But Friday came, and the song dropped anyway. Midnight hit. Real Ones Die went live on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, everything. And bro, it was personal. From the first line to the last, Asian Doll held nothing back. She rapped about being silenced, ignored, called crazy. She talked about Von warning her about people in his circle. She mentioned someone buying watches while his mama cried. She accused unnamed people of taking deals with devils. And that same bar from the snippet. "He ain't slide, he just posted RIP, but when the smoke came, he was overseas." That hit different in full context. Fans were left stunned. One YouTuber paused his reaction video and just said, "Yo, if this is true, Durk might never come back from this." The numbers went crazy. 1 million views in 6 hours. Trending #1 on Twitter. People were playing the track back to back, analyzing every lyric like it was a coded message. Some were praising her, others were calling her bitter, but nobody could ignore her. And Durk, still no words. But somebody from his team finally cracked. A producer who used to work with both Durk and Von went live on Instagram. He looked tired, stressed, nervous. He said, "I ain't taking sides. I'm just telling y'all." A lot of weird shat went down behind the scenes. Von was starting to ask questions before he passed. "That's all I'ma say." Then he ended the live. Fans clipped it, reposted it, slowed it down, even made subtitles like it was a documentary. People started saying Von's death was bigger than gang beef, that maybe it was tied to business, labels, money, power, that maybe someone had something to gain from him being out the picture, and the energy in the air shifted. This wasn't just about Asian Doll anymore. This was about the truth behind one of the biggest losses in modern rap, the face of Chicago drill, a star who was rising too fast and got taken out just as quick. Back in the streets, the vibe changed too. Murals of Von started getting more visits. Candles, flowers, letters. Some folks said Asian Doll gave them the courage to speak. Others said she opened wounds that had been hidden for too long. One fan posted a video crying at Von's mural saying, "I don't know what's true anymore, but what I do know, he ain't deserved none of this." Meanwhile, Asian Doll did her first interview since dropping the track. She went on a small podcast, not a big platform. Real raw setting. She sat there, calm but intense, eyes locked on the camera. She said, I ain't never needed clout. I needed peace. I needed justice. And I needed you all to know what really happened to my heart when he died. 'Cause it wasn't just him that got taken that night. It was all of us who loved him. She paused, took a breath, then said, this song ain't the end, it's the beginning. And just like that, fans started asking, what's next? Is she dropping more? Is there a project coming? Is there more tea? But more importantly, what was Durk gonna do now? And that question? That's what had the industry on edge. Because as much as people called Asian Doll emotional or dramatic or messy, she had the streets listening. And the more Durk stayed silent, the more people started believing her. And that silence, it was starting to sound like guilt. And that silence, it was starting to sound like guilt. The streets were getting louder while Durk stayed quiet. The pressure was mounting from all sides. Rap blogs, podcasts, Twitter spaces, everybody was demanding answers. And not the cryptic one-liners or shady tweets. Fans wanted a real response, a voice, a face. Something, but nothing came. No interview, no live, no song, just silence. No song, just silence. And that silence? It wasn't just suspicious, it was deafening. Especially while Asian Doll was everywhere, doing podcasts, responding to fans, even posting behind-the-scenes footage from the Real Ones Die video shoot. She was in her truth-telling bag, and she made it clear she wasn't scared of nobody. I said what I said, and I ain't taking nothing back, she told one interviewer. He coulda spoke. He still can, but the real gon' know what's up either way. Meanwhile, the streets kept watching, and now even some industry folks started speaking in riddles. An A&R from Atlanta tweeted, sometimes silence ain't strength, it's fear. A mixtape DJ commented, you can't be the voice if you ain't got nothing to say. The narrative was shifting. Slowly but surely, people were starting to wonder, was Asian Doll right this whole time? Even some of Durk's fans were conflicted. The ones who had defended him from the start started going quiet. People began scrubbing old comments, deleting tweets, playing both sides, just in case. And then, right when everyone thought Durk might stay mute forever, he finally posted a black and white video, just 14 seconds long. No caption, no music. It was just him, walking slowly through a dark hallway. At the end, he opened a door, looked back into the camera and said, "Y'all believe anything, huh?" The video ended. No music, no announcement. Nothing else. Within 10 minutes, it was trending everywhere. Fans started arguing again. Some said it was a subtle clapback. Others said it was a weak response. But one thing was clear. It wasn't enough. Because the streets wanted more than energy. They wanted answers. Asian Doll responded within the hour. She reposted the video and added her own voiceover, laughing. "Funny how the hallway got more words than you do," she said. The video went viral instantly. The back and forth was turning into an actual war of public perception. And Durk? He looked like he was losing ground. Fast. Then a surprise twist nobody saw coming. King Von's older sister went live. And she ain't hold back. She said she'd been watching everything unfold. She said she tried to stay quiet out of respect. But now, she was tired. I ain't gonna pick sides. But what I will say is, some of what Asian's saying ain't lies, it's real. I saw how people moved after my brother died. And it wasn't love, it was opportunity. Boom, that live was like a nuclear bomb. Suddenly, fans had receipts from both Von's girl and Von's blood. It wasn't looking good for Durk. And still, no full response, just more vague stories. A couple studio clips, a gym selfie, nothing direct. People started comparing this to old beefs in hip-hop, like when Tupac called out Biggie, like when Nas dropped Ether. This wasn't a random diss anymore. This was a narrative war. And Durk was looking cornered. But here's the thing about pressure. It either breaks you, or it makes you dangerous. Because 3 nights later, without warning, Lil Durk went live. No promo, no flyer, just a black screen and his voice. "Y'all wanna hear it? Y'all wanna hear the truth?" His face came into focus. Serious, no chains, no jewelry, just Durk. He took a deep breath and said, "I ain't gotta explain myself to nobody, but since everybody wanna act like they know the story, let me say this once." The live lasted 6 minutes. Short, but intense. He said he never turned his back on Von. He said Von's mama was always taken care of. He said some people trying to rewrite history because they hurt, and because they ain't got nothing else left but pain. "I ain't never said I was perfect, but I never did my brother dirty, not once. And if you gotta use his name for clout 3 years later, then that say more about you than me." He ended it with, Say what you want. Tweet what you want. I know what's real, and God know too. Click. Liveover.fans were left stunned. Some said it was a solid response. Others called it damage control. Asian Doll instantly posted a reaction tweet. He finally spoke after 3 years. Must have hit a nerve. And just like that, the war wasn't over. It was just heating up again, because now fans were fully divided. One side screaming loyalty, the other screaming lies. One side quoting Durk's lyrics, the other quoting Asian's pain. And the biggest question still remained. What really happened to King Von? Was it just another tragic night in the street war? Or was it something deeper? A betrayal wrapped in silence? A business move disguised as grief? Some fans say we'll never know. Others say more receipts are coming. And Asian Doll. She's already teasing a part 2 to Real Ones Die. This time, she's bringing features. One of Von's old homies even hinted he might hop on it. The streets are watching close. Meanwhile, Durk is moving like a chess player now. Slow. Silent. Strategic. He ain't posted nothing in days. Not a song. Not a tweet. Not even a gym selfie. And for the first time in years, he looks like he's on the defensive. But whether you believe him or not, one thing's for sure. The bond that once held OTF and Von's legacy together, it's shattered. This ain't just about Asian Doll versus Lil Durk. This is about truth versus silence, love versus loyalty, pain versus power. And the fans, they're the ones caught in the middle. The streets are still echoing with questions. And this drama, far from over. After Asian Doll dropped that diss, after Lil Durk finally broke his silence, and after Von's own family stepped in, everything we thought we knew about this situation got flipped on its head. The brotherhood, the loyalty, the legacy, all under fire. King Von was supposed to be the chosen one, the rawest out of Chicago, untouchable in the booth, and respected in the trenches. But now, years after his death, his name is back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. And what started as whispers in the streets has now turned into a storm that's impossible to ignore. Did Lil Durk really abandon his brother after the fame hit? Was Asian Doll telling the truth this whole time? And most importantly, was King Von's death just a tragic night? Or was there something more sinister behind it? Because if what Asian Doll's claiming is even half true, we might be looking at one of the biggest betrayals in modern rap history. But now we gotta ask, will this beef end careers? Will more secrets come out? Is Asian Doll gonna drop part 2? And is Durk planning a response track? Or planning to disappear? This is no longer just rap drama. This is legacy level tension. This is culture shifting controversy. This is pain, profit, and politics all colliding in real time. But the real question is, what do you think really happened? Was this all miscommunication, or was King Von actually backdoored by his own circle? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear every theory, every hot take, every street perspective. Smash that like button if you think the truth still ain't come out yet. And if you're here for the realness, for the tea, and for the stories they don't want told, hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Because this drama, it's far from over. And trust me, the next chapter's coming sooner than you think. Stay locked in, stay dangerous, and stay tuned. Stay locked in, stay dangerous, and stay tuned.